Hey, this is Topher James, and I'm gonna do things a little bit different. I'm gonna actually show you my setup and probably my streaming and stuff that I look on the website. So here's my golf area, just my spare bedroom, and I got my caddy. She gets mad at me if I play too much. But realistically, I have a Quest 2 that I play on, and it's hooked up by a link cable all the way up to my gaming laptop. And then I have the OG Deadeye that's pretty worn in with duct tape quarters for a little bit of weight because that's just how I do it. And some of the things that you'll notice if you play through the Rift software on the laptop, and I tried the AirLink, it's not really good enough for me, but I do have the cable, the USB-C Meta cable, and it's plugged in. And then I have this going to the Ethernet, so I rarely get disconnected from when I play with my friends. And the bad thing about it is basically every time I will restart my computer, I have to have this unplugged. And then when it boots up with the Rift software, then I plug in the cable, and then I reset my headset. And then once that comes up, 9 times out of 10, I can get into the Rift version so I can get on and play my game. So if my friends are watching this, and when I say I'll be on in a couple of minutes, it usually takes me about 3 minutes to get on a game. But here I'm going to show you my streaming setup. Alright, so for the actual setup on the game itself, you'll notice a few things differently from the headset for those who aren't familiar with it. So it's still called Oculus, but I know Meta's been doing some updates, so every time I boot it up, and I think I just opened it up twice, you download the Oculus Rift software, and then when it pull up, it's converting over to Meta, and if you purchase the game on the Quest 2 or the Quest 3, you'll automatically have it on your library for the Rift software, so you don't have to pay for it multiple times, which is cool. Once you start up the game, it will load differently than the headset. And when I mean differently, I've noticed, at least for myself, that you still have your profile, your rank, your stats, things like that, but the clubs are usually a little bit different. They have changed that recently, so I might be wrong about this because your club settings are loaded from the cloud. But there may be a difference, all I'm saying, as far as the head, like, there's a difference between the Quest 2 and the Quest 3, and then the Bose headsets and the Rift. I might be wrong. Hopefully I am. But yeah, so when you load up the Golf Plus game on the Rift software, then it becomes full screen, which is a lot better picture for making content, video, streaming, things like that. You'll notice if anyone's recording from their headset, if they move quickly left to right, you kind of see black lines or black bars on the left or right. On the PC, you don't get that. You get a much clearer picture. You get, I want to say, actually, I'm confident between playing on the Quest 2 and the Quest 3 headset alone and the Rift, that the tracking is better. Now, I'm still playing Quest 2. I'm not ready to start playing Quest 3 yet because I think there's still tracking issues. But PC is better, in my opinion. And if we look at some of the different things also too on the Rift software, and one thing I do want to point out is if you actually go into the devices, then you can also change different things on here as well, like the graphics preference. I have mine basic at 90 hertz render solution. I want to say, I can't remember the ratios, but that's probably 1080p. But you can change it depending on your computer. This computer is only like an i7 with a 2070 or 2080, so it's pretty old. But with the new 4000 series, especially with a better processor and better RAM, you can probably really get a 120 hertz with probably 4K, which isn't going to change the game, but it's going to change your experience. So, different things to think about with that. Also with the computer, it's really nice too to be able to have it hooked up to Discord. And so whenever my friends ping message, say, hey, we're getting on, hey, let's play. I can hear the ding through the headset rather than constantly checking my phone. So that's a plus. And then this program that I'm using to record right now is called OBS, Open Broadcaster Software. It's free. Mine's outdated, but it's really nice. You can use it to capture the windows, the display, any full screen application, which we call game capture. You can stream it, Twitch, YouTube, Kick. You can record it. There's just a lot of functionality with that. I don't do any bells and whistles. I don't do Streamlabs. I don't do the add-on to where you can see your Twitch chat within the headset. Um, but there's just a lot of options to look into. So this is much better than recording in the headset because then you have to download it. You have to put it on Facebook. It's just a pain. And so this is just much easier. If you don't have the cable, or if you really wanted to, you can always pull up the Meta streaming window, and you can just record it on your computer through OBS. That's an option. But yeah, so that's pretty much how I do the Rift in the software. I'm going to start looking into how I look at the website. Alright, so I'm looking at the Golf Plus website right now, and just some basic things that I look at as far as my strategies and how I want to be better. If you pull up golfplusvr.com, you can go into the tour. You can look at the current weekly events, daily events, all your round statistics. You can look at the statistics and rounds with your friends. You can check out the golf pass, a lot of things like that. You can go through novice, amateur, pro. There's a lot of information in here, and I do look at this a lot. When I look at my stats, a few things. The handicap history for the game opposed to the tournament handicap, I don't think means anything. I don't take it serious whatsoever. It's just, it could be too easy to gas it because if you play on one course all the time, then really your overall handicap is just based off that handicap. Uh, doesn't mean much to me. What does mean a lot to me is the strokes gained. So the strokes gained kind of gives you an idea of how you're doing in the game. And I have almost 1,400 rounds, I think. But when I started, my approach and my putting was pretty low. My green side was high, but I wasn't doing that well. And so I would look at other better players and see what their stats were. And their stats look a lot current, like how mine does currently. So mine is very big on the approach. The green side is pretty low. Putting is good. Teeing is not good. But the reason why I know, like how I would dissect this, is the tee is down low because I don't drive the ball long. Plus, I don't drive a lot of par fours or do anything that would really gain me strokes off the tee. I just put it in the fairway. The approach is high because I've tried very hard on my distance control to make sure that if I'm 95 to 115 yards out, that ball better be 5 feet away from the pin. That's what I'm shooting for. If I'm 200 yards out, then I better be on the green 20 feet from the pin. And if I do that regularly, then I'm going to be saving strokes. Therefore, my approach strokes gain goes higher. My putting, that also depends on the length of putts. If I constantly put my approach shot next to 5 feet, I'm not going to get much putting strokes gain, basically because the longer the putt, like 15, 20, 30 feet, you'll get more strokes gain on that because you're saving more strokes on those long putts. But if I'm, lagging a putt from 40 feet and then I tap in, a 4-footer, I'm still going to get positive strokes gain, but it's not going to be nothing impressive. So this, I want to see, it's plus 6.33 currently. I'm happy with it. I don't want to see it drop like plus 2 or anything like that. My biggest focus is my green side. I always want this to be low. I don't want this to be like top 50, top 10 or anything like that. Because if I'm doing well on the green side, that means I don't have a good approach. and I'm not doing well at putting. I'm relying solely on my chipping, my pitching, my sand shots, things like that. That doesn't mean I'm not good at it. I I work hard on this to make sure I can get up and down anywhere at any time to save par or get in for birdie. But as long as this stat is low, I'm happy. Some other stats that are cool on here, best round, longest drive, longest pull out. This means a lot to me. This basically shows me that two times, every, bleh, 2 out of every 3 times I make it on the fairway, I make it on the green. For fun, I'll kind of do some math and see how many birdies I average per round, how many eagles I average per round, and stuff like that. So it's just fun stuff. But if you ever want to, you can always search anyone's name, or you can look up one of your friends' name. Like I used to really focus on papers, stats, but let's look up Striker. Again, his handicap I don't even look at, but I am happy to see how he's doing in strokes gained. He's right behind me overall. Like me, his approach is pretty high. His putting's solid. His screen side is low. I know he's good around the greens. I play with him pretty much every night. And so that's how I would compare myself. Now, if I looked at someone who I don't usually play a lot with, and that would be... Actually, how about this? I play a lot with my friend Bunny. I know we have different skills. His strokes gained, comparable to the world, is still very good. But comparable to the top players, to myself, to Striker, he relies on the green side. He's doing pretty good with approach and putting, but there's still room for improvement. So if he ever asked me, hey, what do I need to work on? I would tell him, get in the fairway, get on the green, make some putts, stop wearing, trying to get up and down. Like, what is this? Yeah, his green regulation percentage is a lot, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but it is lower than mine. So different things like that. So with strokes gained in mind, I look at my rounds, and I just played my last round was at Kiwa. I played very well. Personally, I try to always have plus 20. That's kind of unrealistic, so anything above plus 10, I want to say is good. I always want to see my approach to be the highest. If I ever have a round that my green side is the highest, I know I struggle. So I always want to see approach is the highest, putting's right behind it, and I want to see low tee or greens. You can look at the total putts. You can really dissect your game outside of playing to see what you need to work on. Going to the tour and just kind of look around. The blue is the tournament handicap. That is the handicap that actually means something. These are all good players with plus 15, plus 13. Anything over plus 10 is great. So that is the handicap that I would want to focus on. As well as... Oh, one last thing. So if I wanted to actually pull up someone's round and see how well they did, you just click on the round on the page. So King here had a great first round of a -8, 24 putts to 100 feet of putts. So if I really want to see how he did that, I can break down his score, or I can click on this pop-up window, and I can look at his strokes gained, and he's following the trend. Great approach. His putting could have been his putting's kind of low for 24 putts, so maybe he had a lot of short putts. But either way, this is a type of strokes gained I expect to see top players be. So you can really compare yourself to other people. And then last, but definitely not least, I'll just click on this. So on this front page of the tour, you have all the events. You scroll further down, and you have the dailies. But you can see a breakdown of the tiers for amateur and pro. You can see how many people. Oh, we're up to 7,000. Nice. So you can see how many people are in each tier, how much movement there is. You can go through and see what your points breakdown is. So basically see how many points you were awarded for the week, how much decays on the points, how much points are falling off. So I have a lot of points falling off next week. Your ranks, graph of your points, just a lot of different information. Past finishes. And then if you really do want to get into it, you can go to standings and you can go to friends only, and you can just see how your friends are doing. So I have a lot of friends in Diamond. I have a lot of friends in Gold 3. I have this guy down here for some reason. Maybe that'll change. But that's basically a breakdown of my setup, how I stream, and what I look at on the website. Hopefully it's helpful. Have a good one.